Good evening, everyone. It's I've just got to get this off my mind, to be honest. And what it is, it's the Hillsborough law, which will definitely be passed in the autumn. It really will be passed because we can't have another 97 souls dying, and then the lies and the cover-ups and the bad British press really having a go at Liverpool supporters. And you know what newspaper I'm talking about. We can't have that again. Then the cover-up by the police, the lies by the establishment, the cover-up by the establishment, just to blame Liverpool fans for killing their own. But the court case just exonerated all the Liverpool fans, me included, if you know what I mean, because I took that personally. But one thing that really gets me is a certain woman, supposed to be leader. There would have been none of this today, only for Anne Williams. Anne Williams fought when they said, no, you can't go. And she went to the European courts. And she said, I need an investigation into this. This is wrong, especially with the Liverpool fans being blamed. And she fought all the way. And then what surprised me most was Sheila Coleman. What a lovely lady she is. Beautiful, beautiful lady who fought so hard, and she wasn't even mentioned. She wasn't even mentioned. And that's disgusting. Despicable, in my opinion. I just thought that's for another time, because it really upset me that Sheila wasn't mentioned. A lady who fought so hard for justice. Lovely lady, not mentioned. Not mentioned. Think about it. Anyway, we'll get back. I'm going to see who's on here. See who's all screaming and shouting at me. Most probably is Big up, Myra. Is Myra with us? Says Edward. And he says, hello, Frank and chat. Hiya, Edward. It's been a while since your last Liverpool pod. Hopefully, they will start buying players so we have something to talk about. Exactly. Oh, I've got to pull this over. See my stupid face. And the superhead says, greetings, Frank and True Reds. With best wishes for this channel on the new season. Notice that our new man initials are AI. So hope. Yeah. Iriola. So I hope people play the opposite with human passion. You'll never walk alone. Absolutely. Cheer that one. Steve, I've just seen your email. I've just seen it. What I'm going to do, Steve, is tonight. I've just seen it now. I was down. I had no internet for the last couple of days, and it's only just come on, so I couldn't have answered yet anyway. And everything was blocked on me. Once that internet goes down, that's the end of it. But anyway, I'm all set and everything is fixed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send you my details. I'm going to send you my details tonight. Try and get hold of me tomorrow. One way or the other. Okay, I'll send you my details. And he carries on by saying, "Hi Frank, Hillsborough law has finally been passed, and the media on Facebook are moaning about LFC because they supported McAllister playing against England on the same day." Just shows you, doesn't it? Just shows you. I'll tell you something funny, honestly. I gets a phone call last night, and it's off an Irish lad, no big Liverpool supporter, and he says, "Oh, I'm made up." He said, "I know it's a pity about England going out, isn't it?" And I went, "I won't tell you what I said," and I just came out with everything. And he said, and he was laughing his head off, and he had me on loudspeaker, and he went, "I've got a mate, got an old mate of yours here." He said he's laughing his head off, and that was Nicky Holt, the playwright. And he said, "Listen, Frank, I know that you haven't been well, and I'm going to come and see you." He said, "Give me a week for when I get home," he said, "and I'll come down to see you." And I thought that was lovely. So I said, "That's great, that, Nicky, please do." Anyway, we'll talk about England going out. And Steve carries on. "Spain really surprised me against France. That Spanish striker is the new Torres." Yeah. I wanted Spain to beat them. I really did. I said to our Francine, "I hope Spain turns them over." To be honest, that's France, turn France over. And they did. They did. And Edward, the season starts in 5 weeks and we still haven't got someone to play on the right. No, we haven't. Edward, it's beginning to worry, isn't it, supporters? It really is beginning to worry them. But as you said, the season starts in just over 5 weeks' time. And we've signed this Munoz fella. He's an unknown quantity to me. I don't know about you, whether you... Well, anyone can make a video, can't they, of all the best. You've only got to look at any player that's played for Liverpool and show a video of them. And they look amazing. And they've been awful for us. No names mentioned, but I'm saying. And little Linda, even if Franken's all Red fans. Hiya, Linda. Hiya. And there's the poet. "Say everything about this country that we even need this law. You think people in positions of authority telling the truth would be a given, yes, but they don't. That's why it's so corrupt. It's so corrupt. You've only got to look at the fella who's just died, a senator from South Carolina. He's a horrible, horrible man. I was looking at him today and what he used to be saying, and he wanted to nuke. He wanted Israel to nuke the Gaza. Not knowing, that if they were to nuke the Gaza, Israel's on the doorstep, and the blast would have just gone through to Israel with all the fallout as well. What a pathetic man. But he just wanted to get rid of everyone. And it's just like Trump. I'm being honest. What did Trump say a few weeks ago about Iran? He said, I'll just obliterate the whole country, kill everyone. This is what we've got in power. And I think we've got the same as about Burnham, being our new Prime Minister. He's going to be no different to him. To Starmer. He's going to follow the narrative. Toscana, hiya Toscana. Buonasera, Franco and Reds. I'm sorry, I just caught the end of your convo, Sheila. I had the pleasure of meeting her years ago in a box at Anfield. Hope she's okay. She's lovely, Sheila. I gave a talk up at Anfield, and she was there. She was there, and it was lovely. Yeah, just lovely, but not to be mentioned. Come on, come on. It's Miss Grabador who was just, there. Sorry. Nah, not for me, that woman. Grabador. Sheila, yes. Anne Williams. Without Anne, nothing would have been done. Can everyone use caps, please? Yes. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. That's it, Mr. Paparak. Hi, everybody. Great news. Steve Mulholland. Yeah, about Hillsborough. Yeah, I'm sorry. I saw on Facebook the Minton tiles unveiling at St. George's Hall. Look great, says Dennis. Why we got the Minton tiles is that we couldn't do. We weren't experienced in mosaic. We weren't experienced. So we wouldn't send for the Italians because they are the boys and girls. They're the masterminds of mosaic. So we decided just to have tiles, Minton, which are great, they're smashing. So that particular thing, the unveiling, I told you all about Charles, didn't I? Going back to 2007 on our 800th birthday and taking him around there. But when you look at that, the unveiling, I always remember our birthday, and it was all cleared. Everything was shown, like the unveiling. And I was doing a few talks there, they asked me to do a few talks. Said, yeah, sure, So I was giving these talks, and I was meeting these different people. And I always remember, I always get mixed up with these, though. I don't know whether it was Pilkington glass or St. Helens glass or something like that. And they wanted, the way they unveil it now, they cover it up with all the wood and that, Then, every year they uncover it so people could see it. And they turned around and said, listen, what we'll do, we'll cover it over with glass, unbreakable glass, so it's there all the time. Scratch resistant, everything. It'll be clear all the time with glass. And they said, now, they got about £24 million to refurbish the hall. And all of it wasn't done, by the way. And they said, yeah, okay. How much will it cost? And they said £250,000. And he went, oh, no thanks. I never forget that. That was being there all the time without uncovering. The messing of uncovering, it would have been there, you would have been able to have seen. Because it's based on Emperor Caracalla Steenbat syndrome. The actual floor, the Minton tile floor. Because it is a bath, you actually go down steps. But, that's another thing, which is sad. Which is really sad, to be honest, for £250,000. 250,000. That's all it would have cost. And another thing, I knew a fella by the name of Martin Foote, fantastic sculptor, and he lives and works in Florence. And he wanted to build, because it's never finished. St. George's Hall is never finished. And he wanted to put in the frieze that was taken out of Britannia. and, you know, the history of Liverpool going up. It's I've got a thing here somewhere. I don't know where it is. Do you think? Excuse me a minute. I've got it's a smashing thing. Fuck's sake. I can't use my left arm, to be honest, which is a shame. It's a shame. Can't use my left arm, you know, it's because it's on my left hand side here, my little library. And what I've got is the original draft of the frieze. And this Martin Foote, he said, I can do that in marble. So we went and seen them. He said it'll cost the freight, the insurance, everything, putting in for 2 million. Now this is all the frieze done in marble. He said no. Ta-da, you know, so it's things like that which is really annoying. And Paul say, hey, in inverted commas, Nicky Holt used to be on LFC TV a lot, if I remember. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Nicky. Nicky, crack it. Nicky Holt is a fab player. Yeah, he's putting on a play over there in Ireland. That's how he was there. Yeah, he's on the phone to me, so I'll come up and see you. Me and Dave Kirby, another great friend. He said, no wonder we haven't seen you, Frank, around or on anything. And Stephen Coughlin. Good evening, Frank and fellow Reds. Hope everyone is all well. You'll never walk alone. Yes. Yes, Stephen. And Dennis says, Spain's defending and play in midfield was phenomenal. I think they can turn over Argentina, you know. I think so. I'd love them to win it. You know, I've never heard so much crap going on. You know, the likes of, it's coming home. Come on. What's coming home? Why do they sing that? What's coming home? The likes of Brazil and Italy should be singing that, not us. I remember in '66, England was supposed to play up here at Goodison Park. They're supposed to play around the provinces, as normal, you know, national teams do that are holding the World Cup. They go around. But no, England decided to play every game at Wembley. Every game. And that was wrong. And they all said, it's coming home. What's coming home? They should just put, you know, just it's. They should just change that to their. THEIR, they're coming home. That's what it should be changed to. It's coming home. They're coming home. Yeah, as usual. Frank sent you those, did you? When? Lindsay? I'll have a look. As I said, I've been off everything, you know, since my net went down. So I've only got hold of our Francine now before, you know, because Sophie has gone down to Alton Towers, and I'm just making sure that she's got back okay. She's gone back to school. Anyway, Stephen says, praying Natasha okay, so sending her a group hug from everyone from the chat. You'll never walk alone. Peace. That's from Stephen. Remember Natasha and her dad, poor dad, who isn't well. That's lovely, that, Stephen. And Jenna says, Trumpty Dumpty is supposed to give a speech on telly tonight, will not be tuning in. He'll only be saying the usual about Iran. That's all. And Stephen says, very disappointed in the lack of transfer activity with the season starting soon, as we need to start signing players. You'll never walk alone. No. This is what's worrying a lot of our fans, actually. And my old mate, Steve. Yeah, he said, I'll give you the ring tomorrow, Frank. I said, okay, stay. Because I don't know when he's working or not, you see. And he's got an important job. And I've always said to him, stay, I can't ring you. Because I have rang him on a couple of occasions and he's gone, not now, don't put the phone down on me. So I don't know when to ring people or not. And anyway, sorry I didn't ring you, Frank, mate. We'll be in touch at the weekend. Made up England. Lost last night. It's beyond. You've never seen it. It's beyond football with all that, as you know. Yes. Yes, I know, mate. It is beyond football. We know the score. And Stephen says, thank God England are out. It's a blessing, Frank. Yeah, us Liverpool fans get caught for everything because, they say, why don't you support your country? It's like anything else. I've always supported Italy. I've always, from a little boy, always supported them. And my love for them, hasn't changed. And someone said, well, why don't you support it? And I remember Steven Gerrard being captain. He said, aren't you supporting them? And I went, no, why? Steven Gerrard's captain, and, there's a few other players from Liverpool players. I said, so? They want you to support a team that you don't want to support because you support another team. And Steve Mulholland says, I liked Antonio Areola's first press, so did I. And one of the first things he will improve is that he will get sick teeth. I could do with some myself. Can't make these things up. And Dennis says, I am most curious to see who Areola brings over here for the pre-season tour. Off to Nashville next Friday to see the lads, July the 20th. Oh, go away. Oh, I'm sorry, Dan, to put you up. So you're going, are you? Yeah? Oh, that would be good. That would be good with your lad. As they say, dad and lad. Well done, Stu. Dennis, well done. And Ali, our Romanian friend. Good evening. Good evening, Ali. And Stephen says, seen some training methods under Areola. It's nice to see the players put through the paces instead of using stupid balls like we did under the Dutch cheese and the ball fraud. Yes. I noticed that. I was watching them. And they were running. And even Szoboszlai was knackered, wasn't he? And I tell you who surprised me, and he was knackered. Younger Rio, because he's young, 17. God blimey, he should have been. But anyway, he was knackered. So you see how it'll go. Putting through the paces. And Carlyle. Hello, Frank. Long time no see. Looking good. Thank you, Carlyle. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. And Steve Mulholland. I hope Tommy Fleetwood does well at the Royal Birkdale Golf Tournament. Really? I don't know who he is. He's Tommy Fleetwood. That's Tommy Fleetwood Mac, is it? Big up, legends. Chat. Hope you're all well, says Mr. Hollywood himself, Cedric Lopez. You can't get a better name than that. That's not even a made-up name. Cedric Lopez. Do you know if he was collared? Right, just say like the police, come here, you. Whatever you're being up to around there. Been up to nothing. What's your name? Cedric Lopez. They just drag him in and give him 6 months. That's not your name. Telling you. Sorry there, Cedric. But it's true, mate. You wouldn't believe you with a name. That's a great name. And the poet says, Monday's show was brilliant on the history of Liverpool. Thank you, poet. I've got more to come anyway. I've got more to come on that when we do it on Monday. Thank you. I made up with that. You're the only one who said anything. Yeah, it was a good show. Thank you. Carlyle says, even in the World Cup year, the transfer activity is appalling. I can only assume that the players we're looking at are all on personal break after being knocked out from the, yeah. But then again, there's other teams buying players. There's other teams buying them. And I can't see Areola saying, I've got a squad which is big enough. Can't see that. And lovely Linda says, them photos are on your messenger. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lynn. And Toscana, don't care who wins the final of Sunday, but Spain were impressive the other night. I'm glad England got beat. The thought of seeing Pickford in the final would have been unbearable. Can't stand shit. Well, I thought they were going out, to be honest. I thought they were going out. And, 85th minute, they're going to go here. Caught. Bang. Bang. And McAllister hitting the post twice. McAllister hitting the post twice. Unlucky as well. Excuse me. The water is tepid. It really is tepid. And Edward says a salary placement should have been the first signing. Yes, this is why they're trying to get this Barcola, aren't they? But have you noticed some pods? It was Diamandi, 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 24/7 in a couple of weeks. Then when he said, I'm not going, it was Barcola, 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 and it's still Barcola. Remember, I've always said this, I won't believe any of them, the pods, until I see someone sitting at a desk at Anfield or at the AXA signing a piece of paper which says contract on the top, and then holding up a shirt with their name on the back. That's the only time I'll believe it. Because you've only got to look at the slot thing, slot staying, slot staying, slot staying, slot staying, slot staying. You've only got to look at that for proof of what I'm saying. Take no notice of them. It's all guesswork with them. They go to a press conference, and then they come up with their own assumptions. They always come up with their own assumptions. And unfortunately, some podcasters, no fault of their own, say, oh, look, we're going to get such a body, Diamandi. Oh, we get them. We get them. Look at us. We're going to be nice. What happened? And Stephen Lowell says, England now have a new captain. He will be bringing the players home early on British Airways. I like that. That's clever. That's clever. Captain of the Airways. Well, it's not coming home, is it? And Stephen says, England will never win anything major as they went too defensive against Argentina. They were a shambles, so Tuchel should be sacked for being a bad German bottler. There's a joke. Tuchel. And the Scrooges of Anfield are taking the pit. Yes. We've always said that, though, haven't we, about the owners, unfortunately. Ed Tom's agreed to a new contract, hands down, our best player. Yeah, but it hasn't really been confirmed. And this is where we've got to be careful. It really has, because, again, it was full of assumption. It really was. Dennis. So, it's okay. Someone saying, oh, yeah, he's agreed, but he hasn't signed. And he's there. He's there now. He's at the training. So why hasn't he signed? I'd love him to sign, don't get me wrong. I'd love him to sign, Dennis. And he is our best player. Or he was last season. And we'll just see how he works under Iraola. It'll be great. I think a lot of players under Iraola. Let's see how they play. And Dennis says, we'll be sure to send your pics, mate. Okay. I loved your pics of Liverpool to the city centre. Still got them, Dennis. Brilliant then, mate. And Stephen says, the Scrooges of Anfield are taking of our club. Again, Frank, it's bad news. And buonasera, Franco, and everyone. Hope you're well. Says the lovely Bella. Hiya, Bella. Hiya, Michelle. Didn't get a link. Thought I was on with you, Frank. I said to you, you said the other night, and you didn't even stay, did you, Daryl? You didn't stay. You know, if you would have stayed and answered me, maybe, you know, we could have had a little bit of a talk. But you didn't stay. You just went. You made a comment and went, which was annoying because I answered you. And you weren't there. You never even answered back. So what do you want me to do, mate? Oh, there's the lovely Natasha. Yeah, I see England's are coming home empty-handed. They're looking at us. You wouldn't think so, Natasha. Did you watch the game last night? I had no internet until late on. And I didn't think I'd be doing this, to be honest. But the lads, you know, were working on it. The lads were working on it. It came on this morning. Excuse me. That's a cracker now. There's Dennis and his band. And old jalopy there. I'll get the other fella to put that up. He'll get that up. Jason, because you can't hardly see that, unfortunately. Okay. I can hardly see it. So, Natasha, I couldn't watch anything, sweetheart. And Stephen says, can everyone hit the likes for Frank, please, and support the channel? You'll never walk alone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do you know what I'd like you to do? I keep asking. Have a look at your subscriptions, because I was watching a podcast. And the unfortunate thing is that, like the host said, why, I don't know why YouTube take away subscriptions. And he said that a couple of years ago as well. And I said on air after he said that. Then he said it again. Because they take it. I've been on the same number for a very, very long time, albeit that people have subscribed, liked and subscribed, and the number hasn't gone up with it. Even Jason said it. Tommy Fleetwood is a major golf player who is from Southport, says. Well, I know I didn't know he's from Southport. I don't follow golf. Honestly, don't follow it. Me Ballesteros days are over, unfortunately. Sevi Ballesteros. They really thought they could defend for the rest of the match after scoring first, says Scarner. The arrogance. Azori always for me. Thank you. And me. Tommy Fleetwood, great golfer from Southport, Everton fan. No wonder I've never heard of him. Oh, the telly and film pod's back on Saturday now, says Edward. I can't do Saturday. I'm out. There's a film I want you to watch as well, you know, and it's good. It's a cracker. And I thought, oof, that's a good one. Natasha. So the wait goes on, Frank. Yes, it's been going on since 1970. It's coming home since 1970. And it'll keep going on and on and on. Never ending story. Never ending story, Natasha. And Stephen Cochran says, at the end of the day, the World Cup has been a farce. Glad to see the back of it. So roll on the season for next season challenge. You'll never what? Yes, it's corrupt. Corrupt. You know, look, we're not silly people. We're not silly people. And we always known that there's been, the likes of corruption. There's always been that. No matter what, throughout the years, there's always been corruption. But these last few years, I didn't realise the extent of corruption. And I'm talking about everything. Countries, how corrupt they are, how corrupt they make money. And I'm talking about presidents and prime ministers. I knew that war, if there's a war, there's always money to be made. There's always been money to be made in war by giving the money, to the military complexes that make big weapons, planes and bombs and everything. And they have to buy them. But then it's, well, we give you that, you give me that back, yeah, okay. That's why you've got the West. Now, the West know that Zelensky is the biggest corrupt plant pot on the planet. They know that. They know that the country is so corrupt. Yet they keep giving them money. You've got to ask yourself, why? They know that they're being defeated all the time. But why are they saying they're winning? Because they want you to believe, so we go, and give them more money. This Starmer pledged, billions every year for the next 100 years. What's that all about? If I was Prime Minister, I'd just tear that up. Just like Boris Johnson tore the peace deal up in March 2022. This is why we've got a war today. I'd just tear it up and say, no, you're getting nothing off us. In fact, you're going to pay us back what we've given you. That's what I'd say. Or get Zelensky and bring him over. Just say, where's our money? You know that he bought a bank, don't you, in France? He actually bought a bank in France. I wonder how much you see in that bank, in the vaults there, because what can he do with billions and billions of dollars in EU money? And our money, pounds. Going into the vault, he can't go with an anchor, can he? And go into some other bank and go, hey, I want to put that in your safe. See what I mean? It's a massive, massive laundry. Is Ukraine. And Toscana said, this is mad, this, I'm sorry. Toscana says England's were in the easy side of the draw, scraped through, wins, look at to run out at some point. They sat back, didn't they? And Natasha says, it's shown on the TV today that Iriola was signing football shirts outside the entrance and talking to the kids. And one kid asked him if he's going to win the league, and he said, I can't see that. And he told them as the players. Well, he told the players, yeah. That's at least he's talking to the kids, isn't he? Slot didn't want to know. He wouldn't. I've never seen him talk to anyone. Him. And Steve Coughlin. We are linked with a move for Jed Spence from Spurs. Now, and we have lost out on Yao Gomez from Wolves after he's going to Villa. Well, I'd rather have that Yao Gomez, to be honest, than that lad. Jed's. He was in their relegation side, and we're fucking signing them. There you go. And what's that? Oh, I. You know why. Do you like McAllister or not? No, I like him. McAllister, look, what you've got to look at. And this is where people, they're falling down over, certain players. They go, get rid of McAllister, he was awful last season. He was great the season before, but he was awful last season. Thing is, he was awful under Slot. When Slot changed the system, who was the outstanding player? Who was the only outstanding? And that was Szoboszlai, because he was everywhere, that lad. He was everywhere. He was throwing him at right back, played great at right back. Throwing him in midfield, he was all over the place. No position for him. He just had the freedom of the park. He was the only decent player. Everyone else was awful. Everyone. So I'd like to see, I really would, I'd like to see McAllister under Iriola. See what he's like under him. Every player, that is. We need a good start, says Edward, and a good season from Isak. I'm giving Isak and Wirtz one more season. Wirtz was even crap for Germany. Yes, but Germany were crap. But you're right. I've got the hiccups, sorry. And Natasha said, Iriola and his family are moving to Liverpool. Benitez has also given his approval and said Iriola is a good manager. Well, Rafa, well, you take notice of Rafa. And, for me, I remember saying it weeks ago when Slot was still here, and I was saying Slot's going. And no one believed me. No one believed me. You say, we want to believe you, Frank. But Frank was vindicated as usual. Because he did go. While everyone else was saying he's staying. No, he's not. He's fucking going. I know he's going. I was told he was going. But anyway, when he was there, slot. You've got to look at what he said, slot. Well, not what he said. You've got to look at where he was living. He was living in Manchester. His family, his wife and kids didn't want to come over. And then there was the spin by silly fans, not on here, not on our chat, saying, oh, you can't break up kids from the... that annoyed me. I've been in the education system for years. Of course you do. And, you know, he could afford a private school, so they could have came over, gone to a private school. Wouldn't have broke their education system at all. Nothing. So it was spin. And they think that you and I are stupid. They really do. They really do. That fucking Edwards. And that Hughes. Well, Edwards is gone now, isn't he? Hughes. Such a phony, him. As I called him, the invisible man. Never went to any games. He was just sitting in his armchair in Bournemouth, where he lives. And you get the likes of Slot, the Dutch cheeseman, living in Manchester, not the city that employed him. That was a sackable offence. And Hughes, who brought him in, you know, when he said, no, my wife doesn't want to move to Liverpool, she doesn't like the place, he should have said, well, you can't come there. You can't have the job, fuck off. We'll bring in someone else. That's what he should have done. Hughes, but he didn't. But he brought Hughes in, Edwards. Brought the invisible man in. This is the mess starting. And it was only with Klopp leaving, you know, a good side that could win the championship. And that side, the following season after Klopp left, and Baldy had took over, that we won the league. But we had that massive cushion. Then he went on to his system, didn't he? Knew we were going to win the league. And the system was woeful, and he wouldn't fucking change. And this is why we were so bad last season. The back end of last season. The season before, that is. And last season, woeful. I'm very, very lucky to scrape into 5th place, where we have to start qualifying around August, playing games, unnecessary games, because of this dope. That dope, the Dutch cheeseman, and Hughes, and Edwards, bringing them in. For me. And Cedric says, thoughts on the man with hair almost as good as yours, signing a new deal. Eddie's jealous. Thoughts on the man with hair almost as good as yours, signing a new deal. Eddie's jealous. At least we've got someone with hair, haven't we? It's a new one, that's Cedric. And as would say, from what I've seen with the World Cup, it was slow and boring. Other than France, footballers took a dip in the way it's played. But you've got to, no disrespect to our friend here, Dennis, but anything American, they make a fanfare out of it, don't they? And they doing the countdown. Come on, that's not traditional. They want to impose what they think is good. I'm talking about America, for example. No one else. They want to impose what they think is good for soccer. Countdown. Do you ever remember Ricks and Gillette? Or was it these? I forget who it was now. When they wanted to introduce those, cheerleaders at Anfield. Come on. Natasha. Frank, you will have to be the manager of England. Me? Me be the manager of England. Rather be the manager of Italy, to be honest, Natasha. And now we're busy. Good evening, Frank, from West London, Frank. The only thing that comes home after every tournament is our football players. Exactly. They're coming home, they're coming home. Yeah, I guess we have to wait till it appears officially, says Cedric. Honestly, I'm not being funny when... I'll tell you what did me in. I'm going back a few years. When we were supposed to be signing Fekir, and you'd actually see Fekir sitting in the studio or wherever he was with a Liverpool shirt on. He was back in France for Lyon. And he was sitting there. He said, yeah, I'm signing for Liverpool. And nothing happened. Because FSG told Klopp, that money is for that goalkeeper you want in the summer because we just got in Virgil. That Fekir was brilliant. But the spin from them was that he was injured anyway. He had a hole in his knee. What a load of tosh that was. BS right away. And it was because of what I've just said. Not a hole in his knee, because he plays every game. Every game till the end of the season. We were supposed to sign him. Anyway, then it was the Shumani episode, Bellingham episode. Excuse me. So it's official until I see them sitting down after all that. Officially sitting down, signing a contract and holding up a shirt or throwing on a scarf or something. And Natasha says, so how come England's 166 and they cannot win it now? It was probably because they were better players. Gordon Banks was the goalkeeper. Gordon Banks was one of the greatest goalkeepers. You're right. But I mentioned it before, Natasha. You've got to see, they played in London every game, Wembley, every single game. If they would have gone out to the provinces, I said they should have played at Goodison Park here. They should have played, but they didn't. They never played anywhere else except Wembley. So it was like home matches for them. They never moved outside London to play their football, so it could have been a different thing if they would have been playing out of London. So would they have won the World Cup if they would have played up at Goodison or up at Manchester or at Newcastle? I don't know. John Stones is out of contract. He turned 32 in May. If we are skint, why don't we sign her for 2 or 3 years until the likes of Leone and this new French kid, Jacquet, get more experience? He's an ex-Evertonian, you know. He played for Everton, John Stones. So I don't know, to be honest. And he's 32. I think Leone has to be given, you know, if he's up to fitness. I'll tell you what I was glad of seeing Ekatike, you know, at the training. That was good. And Bradley walking without crutches or any things on it. He was just walking ordinary, running, and, which is good. Big up Natasha, says Edward. Big up Stephen, says Edward. Stephen, sorry, spelt it wrong, says Edward. And you said, where have you been, you said? Watching golf is a cure for insomnia. You're right. You're right. I always remember, I'm going back years ago, I was just looking at, you know, the old golf, and none in them days really, you know, those days that have gone, fucking hell, 3 channels you had. And anyway, I seen, what was his fucking name? I think it was Jack Nicklaus, is it? And he went in on a ticket because he never qualified. I forget what it was. And he got $1 million. And this is a British thing. $1 million he got. It just appeared. No, it wasn't Jack Nicklaus. It was Gary Player, South African lad. But he was great, one of the best. But you're right, Yusuf. Give you that insomnia. If you've got it, just watch your rounds of golf. And Stephen says, I like the Lego picture of the incurables. He says to Dennis. I was watching Liverpool today, you know, all games. The Barca game, for example. And honestly, it was an Arab thing, Egyptian. And they were showing the match. An Egyptian commentator. Fantastic. And you see things that, you know, you'd missed. You know, where, you know, when you see the highlights, say, like, where whoever it is that show, the Sky or TNT or whatever, and you see them, you see these, but they showing different pictures, and, you know, the fans, whether you're Barca fans or Liverpool fans, that was brilliant. And when Salah's mentioned, and when Virgil, you know, did a back heel, and, you know, Ter Stegen saved it, he mentioned him about 10 times. Van Dijk. Did you like me impersonation? This is me daughter. Hey, babe. Oh, are they? Where about? Are they going to Cortina? Are they going to Cortina? Francine, are they going to Cortina? Oh. Oh, that goes on your only stream. That goes on my stream. Okay. I'll pay for that. That's no problem. Okay. Skiing stuff. Listen, I'm doing a pod. All right. Okay. Well, I didn't know, Francine. You fell asleep or something because I was talking to myself. All right. Ta-ra, babe. I just said to her there, I was talking to her, she said, why didn't you tell me you were doing a pod? I said, you must have fell asleep. That's why I said to you. She said, yeah, you put me to sleep. Great, isn't it? Hello, Yusuf, says Edward. Hello, Edward, says Yusuf. And Stephen says, all good, Edward, so thanks, buddy. You'll never walk alone. And Edward says to Stephen, do you think we'll get a right winger? Yeah. Oh, so he signed, has he, Yusuf? Sobo signing, but he hasn't signed yet. A 5-year deal is good news. Yes, it is. If he signs it. He ends up being captain, by the way. And Stephen says, I have the original World Cup photo programme from the 66 and the paper from that day with tickets stubs in my programme box from, go away, 1996. You never go away. That's brilliant, that. FIFA stands for Fix It for Argentina. NASA stands for Never a Straight Answer. Says, how busy? How about that? How true. How true. That's a cracker, that. Especially about NASA. And Stephen says, sick and tired of hearing about wars, all about control. It's bad news. Look, the greatest control thing was COVID. They stopped everything. They stopped playing football. Then they started playing it with empty stadiums. That's control. They stopped me from going out. I've got a play there. I've even got the right there. Can't lift the thing up though. Just a minute. Just a minute. No. Oh, I thought I had that thing then. No. I thought I had that freeze for a minute. But I've got my script here for the play. My script for the play. there, but I can't lift it up. It's under some stuff. I can't lift it. And that stopped me from it was sold out, believe it or not, me play. In the June, 28th of June, I think it was. And it was sold out. All the tickets were being printed. It was going to go out at St. George's Hall on I think it was the 28th of June. And the inquiries were phenomenal. Even the manager said, listen, we might have to do 2 weeks. Is that all right with you? I said, yeah, because we was only doing it a week. And I said, yeah, no problem. Then COVID. Then you couldn't go out. You couldn't do nothing. And like my old mate, Jake Abraham, he was going to direct it and star in it as well. And he died, Jake. Not of COVID, when he died last year. Not of COVID. He had that fucking horrible disease. Jed Spence has a decent World Cup, but come on. We can't be having him, says Yusuf. Exactly. Exactly, Yusuf. We can do better. Surely we can do better than that lad. Spurs don't want him. Does that make sense? We're Liverpool Football Club. I think people, and I mean fans, I don't know where they're fucking from, saying, oh yeah, Jed Spence, get him. No, fellas, I'm sorry. I'm with Yusuf on that, big time. Steve said, McAllister World Cup winners has never write him off. He's world class. He'll never walk alone. Exactly. And again, what people are forgetting, that under Slot, the Dutch cheese fraud, everyone was playing crap. Look at Mo Salah. The season before, he broke every record. He broke the assists record. He won the Golden Boot. Broken records for Liverpool on the opening game. When he scores on every game, opening day, Mo Salah. And when we played Bournemouth, he scored. Another record broken. No one could ever do it. No one. Only Mo Salah. And all of a sudden, that season, he was fucking terrible. Why? And he called the Dutch cheese fella out. And everyone got it, and I never. Was getting on his back. Even a podcast that I always went on. I went on their show once after the game. And they were calling him for everything. Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And as I say, he's no to Spence, not good enough for me. He's decent, but not at our level. Yes. Excellent stuff. I can't see the invisible man. Where is he? I think that's the thing, isn't it? Where is he? And lovely Natasha says, Liverpool are bidding for Ryan. The thing is, you see, no, just Natasha, I love you, honest to God, girl, love you. But how many players have we been bidding for? From the likes of Diamandi to Barcola to these other people. We've been interested in everyone. Have we got everyone? No. Got Munoz, whoever he is. Real Madrid didn't want him, so he sent him to Osasuna. Osasuna, think about that. And Stephen Gauchland says, the trouble with Isak, his attitude lets him down, so he needs to start putting a shift in and start scoring goals next season, along with Florian Wirtz, the big money transfers. Thing is, you see, Stephen, he wasn't fit. He wasn't fit, the lad. And he can't score goals, by the way. But I understand what you're saying, especially about Wirtz. Now, Wirtz was fit. But again, you've got to look at the system that the Dutch cheese fella was playing, mate. You've got to, people keep forgetting this. So we'll see how he is under Areola. Fucking hell. We've got to see how he is. Simple as that. A lovely Toscana. Slot never embraced Liverpool as a city. Club was too big for him. Good riddance, says the lovely Toscana. Yes. He didn't embrace us. He didn't embrace us. Oh, there's lovely Myra there. Oh, lovely Myra. Bet she's gone now. Hi, Frank and friends. Hi, Myra. And Myra, you know, she's a South African girl. She's embraced us. More so than the Dutch cheese fella. Myra from South Africa. Dennis Paparak from America. Hello, Toscana, says Edward. Hello, Myra, says Edward. Stephen, thank God Slot, a distant memory. Now he's gone. Now we have Areola for next season challenge. You'll never what? Yes. Yes, Stephen. I love that. I love that, mate. You'd never know what I'm trying to do here. And Myra says, hi, Edward. Hi, Steve Mulholland. Says the lovely Myra. And Toscana, ciao, Edward. And says the lovely Toscana too, Edward. That's what I like, you know. I like people interacting with each other. Don't forget, tomorrow night I've got the... do you know what? I might have... besides the current affairs, I might have some films as well to show. Is that okay? Some, pictures. Not pictures, but movies. I hate saying movies. I hate all this Americanism. But anyway, films to tell you to watch. But I also have pictures of what's going on. And I mean, horrible pictures. Excuse me. Are you going to Iriola's first home game? It depends. No, I doubt it. I doubt it, Natasha. I'm going into hospital next month for a spinal operation. And I hope it makes me a lot better. If not, I'll never go to another match again. Unfortunately. I've been everywhere. Everywhere I've been. Watching Liverpool over the years. Finals. You know, Rome twice. Rome twice. Wembley FC to win the European Cup. Parc des Princes. Paris, 81. You know, so I've been everywhere. Watching them. Even little mad grounds around the country when I was a lot younger. Going to, you know, the FA Cup. I loved the FA Cup. Everyone loved the FA Cup, especially when you were younger, you know. When you were 12, 13, 14. So you could go away to these games on a coach. And coming home again. So but the way I am now, unfortunately, and I've just had a message off Johan. You'll never guess where he is. He's in Russia. You know, he wanted to visit Russia. He's always wanted to visit Russia, so he got there. He was in St. Petersburg, then he was in Moscow, and he's in this place. I hadn't a clue where this place was. And he said, it's terrible. He said, California? I said, yeah. And he got out. He said, I can't phone. He said, I don't know what. Wherever he was, Russia is a vast place. And I'm talking vast, biggest country in the world is Russia. You think America's big? Russia is vast. So, Natasha, I'm awfully... Excuse me a second. Just bends it down, kill me. But anyway, back to this. The World Cup final is going to be 6 hours. What do you mean? So it's not going to be 90 minutes. It's going to be 6 hours. Maybe, you know, what you're talking about is they're going to make it a big occasion, you know, for 6 hours with the match included. Most probably, knowing the Americans. It was like watching Sam Allardyce football with England towards the end of the game last night. It was embarrassing, says Stephen. They're coming on. They're coming on. Might start supporting Germany because of Klopp, says Stephen Holland. The Azoris, you know, we need support, unfortunately. Won in 86. No, we didn't. 90. No, we didn't. 2006. And Italy. I wanted to go into, you know, over to see them parading in Rome, but I couldn't make it, unfortunately. And look what's happened now. In a 20-year span, World Cup holders but they haven't only won it once, as you know. Great footballers. Look at them. The Azori and Steve Auckland. We can't afford to sell anyone with the squad being short on players. Hopefully no one leaves this summer. You see, look. The way I look at it now, we've got Iriola in. I'm just made up that we've got someone who's come in, embraced the city, he's embracing the fans. Like as someone said, he was talking to these little kids. So he was talking to them. Dutch Cheese never spoke to any fucking one. Sorry to swear. But this fella, now, as I said, he's seen players. He's even looked at Jones and, obviously he's looked at him and said, I want him. This is great for me. He's a scouser. Because I've followed Liverpool, as you know, from Bill Shankly, and every side has always had a scouser in. And it's what you call Scouse mentality. It's a local club. It's a local club. And I think, people who live outside Liverpool would understand that. Liverpool supporters, that is. So you've got to have a scouser in. And Curtis Jones is a very good footballer. I like Jones. Anyway, that's by the by now. So he's looking, but when you look at the depth, now Iriola has never ever at this level of football yet at a club, Liverpool Football Club. Now think what they're doing now. They're in the Champions League. We've got to kick off that off, I think, in August to qualify because we got in by the skin of our teeth last season. So we've got to start. So all the games will mount up. And this is a worry for me because he's never experienced this before, especially with a team like Liverpool. And the level of expectancy. And I'm not just talking about the fans. I'm talking about clubs abroad. I was listening to Rue Dullet the other day. And he was just talking and just said, when the draws come out, whoever you're playing for, the team that you want to avoid is Liverpool because of Anfield. Everyone wants to avoid them. So, under Klopp, you see what he had. But he has believe it or not, he has a bare bones squad. You look at the Barcelona game again, just have a look at it. You get it on YouTube, it's always there. The Barca game, and it shows you the team at Anfield. And don't forget Mo Salah and Bobby Firmino, they were out of it because of injuries of that semi. And have a look at the substitutes. You've got the likes of it, Woodburn, and Brewster. They were our subs. They had to fill it in because we were 2 players short because of Bobby and Mo. So they were drafted in. That's how bad we were. And have a look how bad, just watch him. If you watch how bad Shaqiri played. He was woeful. Done a good cross. for Ginny to score the header. That's the only thing he done. He gave the ball away, and on about 4 or 5 occasions they could have easily have scored. That would have been the end of our thing. All right, and anyway. Evening, Frank and everyone. Hope you are well, says the Barry Aldridge. Looking forward to Monday's episode of Liverpool History. Someone else just mentioned that, the poet. And Myra, I can't get what Myra says there. Oh, I don't know what's. Something about UTV, which is over Myra's actually, was banned and their comments deleted and removed. I don't know what that's about. And that's from UTY or UTV, is that? I don't know. But anyway, Myra says, that's okay, current affairs and films. Thank you, darling, Myra. That's tomorrow night. And the FA Cup was wrecked by the Football Association for having semi-finals at Wembley and no replays. You'll never walk alone. Yes. Good shout, that. Myra, sweetheart. Frank, I told the audience about your surgery. Lee said, not to worry. Frank is a Scouser. He'll be okay. Thank you, Myra. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Isn't she lovely, that lady? You're all lovely. I love our ladies. And they don't care that I've got a tooth missing. Do one. UTR. Who is he? Who is he, Vader? UTY. Vader, can you fill me in, please? Who is he? No more talk of Barcola. It's dead in the woods. And Diamandi staying at the Leipzig. By the way, so is all the transfer BS surrounds and transfer news, say Stephen Cochran. Oh yeah, it's Jason. UTY was that racist back on, mate. I got him. Oh, you got him. Tell Jason. What a man. See? What a man. Always look forward to Frank, says Stephen, and his shows, especially like tonight, and the history of our greatest city in the world. Thanks to the main man, Frank. You'll never walk alone. Thank you. Really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. You see, the way we are now, we've got to look at, I try to do shows away from everything. The likes of my current affairs, for example. Now, current affairs, it affects you. It really does. It affects us all. We've got a lunatic in the White House. We have a corrupt fella. He's become a dictator now. And I don't think people are realising this. I'm talking about ordinary people. who like Zelensky. He's become a dictator. He's been president for 7 years. He won't have elections. He says, oh, there's a war on. Forget the fucking war. You know, during wartime, there was elections in this country. We fight the fucking war. We were fighting the big Nazis. And yet people don't realise what Zelensky represents. The Banderites. I knew the Banderites. I'll let you look that fucking up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, because you've been with me that long. Nice one, Jason says, the Vader. See? We've got the Vader on our side. And Jason says, I'm dipping in and out. Could any mods keep an eye out for that racist prick, please? Thank you. Jason never swears. And he's just called the racist a prick. That says a lot. He must be annoyed. I'm not going to phone Jason, you know what I mean? He'll be angry, and so he might have a go at me. Why call me a prick? Yes, so tomorrow, I think our lovely Myra, you know, is the only one who commented about tomorrow night about the film on TV and also current affairs. She said, yeah, that'll be all right. See, the only one. The only one. So, you see, look, as I mentioned about Liverpool, we're Liverpool Football Club. And someone mentioned about, I'll just get onto this. Look at this. Arcade-Saka, is that it? Arcade-Saka. Hi, mate. Szoboszlai signed a contract. My favourite player in Liverpool. Yeah, he was. He's great. He is great. And I said before, you know, when the show started, one of the lads mentioned that he was our, you know, the best player last season, which he was, because there was such a drop in player talent. That's all you can say. Because we have talented players, then all of a sudden there was a terrible drop-off. Especially when Diaz and Nunes left. Because what people don't, you know, what some fans, I'm not saying all fans, what they forget is that Hughes got rid of Diaz and Nunes. You look at the season before, when their last season, even the season before then and the season before that, who were the pressers? It was Nunes and Diaz. They were the pressers. They ran forward. Putting opposition defences under so much pressure and chaos. That's why Nunes was called Captain Chaos. And what they forget as well, all right, he hit the bar post, you name it, and he did miss a lot. But he also scored goals, and he had assists, and he pressed. He was so quick, him and Diaz. And that's what we missed. Simply because Hughes got rid of him. The invisible man. He got rid of him. So now, when the other fella, the Dutch cheese fella, started to bring in his own system, it just didn't work. But he was so adamant and stubborn that he kept to his system, which was woeful. And it was making players worse, look worse. I'll give you an example. I remember Kirkers playing against us twice, and he was phenomenal, that lad. And Iriola was his manager. I didn't know that at the time, because I'm not interested in managers of other day. But anyway, Iriola, the manager, and Kirkers was brilliant against us. And at the end of the season, when his name was mentioned about us getting it, I went, oh, he's going to be great for us. He's going to be great. And look what happened to him. You know, I thought he was good, by the way. I really thought he was good. But so many fans were getting on his back. I didn't know what they were expecting of him. But they were getting on the backs of other players as well, especially Jones and Mo Salah and McAllister and other players as well. They were getting on the backs of them. Canate, everyone, they were getting on the backs. So let's see what this fella brings. Let's see what this fella brings, eh? Iriola. Let's see if he brings any fresh. Well, he will. He's already done it, hasn't he? By saying what he likes and coming in to embrace the city. Remember when I said what Klopp did when he first came in, he just went out of it evening, getting the feel of the city, getting the vibes of the city. He's doing exactly the same, Iriola. He said it. He said, I'm going to go out into the city to see what it's like. And Stephen says, would love an end to tragedy and poverty. Bad chance of football, Frank. It has to be stamped out of the game for the good of football. You'll never walk alone, peace. That's a cracking comment. Because I remember talking to our Gerrard and I said, no, I won't stand next to an England fan shouting for England. England is the establishment who we've been fighting for 30 odd years ever since 1989, the 15th of April. We've been fighting them and they represent the establishment and they've been covering up and telling lies about us. And, you know, you get fans who are calling us murderers, bin dippers in your Liverpool slums, and you want us to fucking stand next to them. Same pricks shouting for England. And the next week they'll be at Anfield or at their own ground calling us scousers for everything. I'm not a fucking... I haven't got a slum. I don't live in a slum. I'm not a bin dipper. Fuck. But you're right there, Stephen. You're right, mate. And the architect says, honestly, would you love to see Barcola at Liverpool? By the way, my name is Arcot, like the chick from Cheetos. Archit. Oh, I say Archit. Okay. I am an Indian and Liverpool fan. Hey, Archit. That'll do us. That'll do us, mate. Yeah, why not? Why not? I think we've got to get somebody. Got to get somebody. We've got to get a centre-back. We've got to, here's my priority, and it's been like this now for the 4th year. This is the 4th year coming up. And it's been a DM. It's been a number 6. Gravenberch isn't good enough to be a number 6. He isn't. I've seen him. He's not a number 6. And some people will disagree with that. Because they like Gravenberch. They just like him. Oh, all right then, you know. I think he's good. That's opinions. People fall out with people because of opinions. And that's wrong. It's wrong. That's why I like to do other shows, the likes of my history show, because I am a historian. And it gets away from football. And you've also got, they're all opinions. And I was told the other week, someone came up and was calling himself a Scouser. And he wasn't a Scouser at all. And yet he told me to fuck off and I was a clown. Because I had a different opinion from him. And that was just on a comment on it. But we get lots of racists. Well, we don't get a lot of racists. They've all gone. They get banned immediately. Racists. And Archard says, excited to see Elliot next season. I was honestly so frustrated with the contract situation at Liverpool. Players leaving for free. Yes. I am so relieved with this Szoboszlai extension. I think we all are. But here's the frighteningest thing, Archard, and it's been like this before, by the way. I remember one season when we were signing no one, and then the spin was, I forget who it was, signed a new contract. An extension to the contract. Two of them, I think, two players. And they said, they're like two new players. Signing. That was the spin. As though we're going to fall for a stupid thing like that. Because that could come out the same spin, saying it's like signing a new player. Do you see what I mean? You've got to be careful of the likes of the hierarchy, for example, the likes of the Invisible Man, Richard Hughes, because he'd come out and say a thing like that. With this extension, it's like signing a new player when he's already fucking playing for us. How can he be new? And Cedric says, I received a lot of crap for liking Núñez as a player, but I still stand by my decision. No, you've got to. I liked him. He was a presser, Cedric. He was a presser. And people don't realise that. It's like the First World War. I know you might think I'm digressing, which I am in a way. And Baden-Powell had these kids. I don't mean it like that, But Baden-Powell had these kids and he called them scouts. And they, not on the firing line, but they used to send messages to posts. Very important messages to posts. And he was called for everything. No one was killed. But he was called for everything for that. Why'd you send boys? But they were well out of the firing line or whatever. And he really got hammered for it. And it's just like now, whether you bring the likes of Núñez into the equation, because you've got people calling him for everything and calling the likes of people who like him, the likes of Cedric, the likes of me. He's gone, he's crap. No. We need depth. I'd bring him back for the free. I'd bring him back. I'd bring him back. He'd do us a turn. Why not? Because we need depth. And we need someone the likes of Darwin. And don't forget, lots of Liverpool fans loved him. So I don't know where these fans come from. You've only got to look at old. I've been looking at nearly every day at old footage, under Klopp. Old matches, only highlights. But you see him, Nunes. And he embraced them because he used to run over. If we scored, he's getting hugged and everything. Same as Gapco. He was brilliant. And then under the Dutch chase fella, he was awful. People were saying, get rid of him. And he played it all right for Holland. Didn't he? Scored a couple of goals. I think he was leading goal scorer at one stage. So I'm 100% behind you there, Cedric. Would you keep Jones at the expense of Graf? Yeah, says Barry. Yep. Yeah. He had a good season. See, he wasn't like outstanding, even under Klopp. He was on the bench with Klopp at a hell of a lot of time. Then he had a decent season when we won the league. Then he fell off at the end of the season after we won the league, didn't he? The back ends when he brought in the new system. And he might have lost a lot of confidence last season because he was awful. He was terrible. Scored a cracker against Everton, if you remember. But he was awful. Well, like everyone else. But that's the thing under Slot. As I mentioned, everyone was awful. So we'll just see. But I want to keep Jones. He's a Scouser. We've got to have the Scouts mentality. Barry, got to. And Stephen says, Newcastle are bad for it, Frank, especially with feed to Scousers. Let them know it's Christmas time. It's bad news. Yeah, well, they all sing that though, don't they? Those Chelsea supporters, Arsenal supporters. And that's every Christmas, isn't it? The bin zippers. Manchester United fans are bad for it too, says Stephen, with the way they sing about our 97. Yep. I'm totally against anything like that. I didn't like the years ago going about the Munich thing. That was awful. But it's what you get nowadays. But it has to be. It really does have to be stamped out. You're right there, Stephen. Totally agree with you, says Cedric. Says Archard. And Cedric likes the thing. Amira says, is correct. Scouser for Scouser is a term used for someone from Liverpool. Yes. Says a lovely, beautiful girl from South Africa. Lovely Myra. You're right there, Myra. And she's leaving us. She's left us. Later, everyone. See you, Myra. Hopefully tomorrow night, sweetheart. I honestly need to know what a Liverpool fan is called who doesn't belong from Liverpool. They're called nothing. They're just Liverpool fans. We embrace our fans from everywhere, Archard. We just embrace them. And Barry says, I absolutely agree with you, Frank. I love Jonesy and would sell Gravenberch to help fund a top number 6. See, Jones, I don't know how it came about when people were just on his back. Sell Jones. And he must have been saying this. And not too many of us were saying, I'm talking about me, I'm talking about you, Barry, I'm talking about, a few of us on here saying Jones, he's good. He's good. And I'll tell you what the spin was as well, because he even come out and said it, didn't he, Jones? When he said, people were saying that I demanded a place in the team. He said, I never said that, no such thing. He said, because I didn't get games. So you've got to be careful of the spin. Now, if it was current affairs, you're talking about Zelensky or Ukraine, you'd say it was propaganda, if you know what I mean. Listen, I'm going to finish, boys and girls, and I'll be back tomorrow. With film, TV, review, and also the current affairs. I might bring a conspiracy theory in as well. A little conspiracy theory, if you want. And Barry say, this is Jones. He's been a provider and scorer of some important goal. Of course he is. Yeah. But people forget that. People forget. I know what they say, that he holds onto the ball too much and sometimes it's taken off him. Only sometimes. But when you see him running forward, he's brilliant. And forward passes. Notice that. Always forward passes. No sideways. No spider things. But you're spot on there, Barry. Well done. Good shout. And Stephen Coughlin says, Gravenberch is robbing a living after his latest contract extension, as he was poor last season, who ended up on a big wage. Yeah, he did. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe what they did. 280k a week. And he'll demand that if he gets that, say like you go and you're on your bike. And he'll demand that off any club, and they're going to go, fuck off, giving you that. So I think we're stuck with him. And talking about bikes, I was looking at, as I said, I love looking at the old footage, Liverpool. And you see Mo Salah running down the wing, as he always did. And the commentator said, and Mo Salah's on his bike. And he scored from it, actually. It was great. Mo Salah's on his bike. Lovely. You couldn't get any better than that. And the Vader. Night, Frank. Oh, nice, Vader. Thank you for joining us, mate. Thank you so much. Good man. And Stephen Coughlin. Good night. God bless, Frank. And fellow chatters. See you all tomorrow, guys and dolls. You'll never walk alone. Peace out. Isn't that lovely? You're not going to believe this today. Like sitting there and I'm going, fucking hell, what is it in here? I'm sweating like a piglet. And I'm saying, oh, fuck me. So I had my t-shirt on, not this. I was just an ordinary white round neck t-shirt. And I took it off and go, fuck me. And the next, I heard like a buzzing, and it was me fire. And I seen this little red light on. And I must have hit my remote control, and I put it on. And all the flames weren't there. Why did I do that? It's like the interpretation of flames. But the flames weren't there, or the lights, or anything. It was just this red dot. And all as it was doing was blowing out at it. Turns it off, and I'd got it off. Turns it off. So that's why I was sweating like a little piglet. And Barry says he must have been rubbing his hands when they offered Grav that wage. Unbelievable. Exactly, Barry. And it's horrible. But anyway, and on that note, see you for the next one. Thank you, Barry. I'll see everyone tomorrow. I'll try and get that, I'll take that thing out to show you about the frieze. I know it's history, but I'll show you that frieze that should have been put up for 2.5 million. Marble. All the free, brilliant it is. In marble from Italy. It would have been done in Italy, shipped over, put up. And he said no. So it's not finished, St. George's Hall. I'll show you for why. I will dig it out and show you for why tomorrow. Thank you so much, people. Thanks for joining me on the football show. I hope some of you join me tomorrow for some films. I've got a couple of films. Really, you've got to watch. You've got to watch. And thank you. Good night now. Ciao.